What is far deadlier than most people realize? Putting feet, legs on dash of car. I've heard enough horror stories from my parents who are both nurses to last me a lifetime. Legs on the dash of a car are not allowed while I'm driving for this reason alone. I'm an insurance guy. I tell people the same thing, and seatbelts in the back seat too. Had claims where people flew through the windshield from the back seat. Obsessed teeth can kill you. Okay, fine, I'll go to the dentist. I don't actually have an obsessed tooth, but I'm a hypochondriac, so maybe I do and I just don't know it. Oh, you would know, trust me. My husband had an infection under his molar. He kept talking about how much his tooth hurt him every so often but wouldn't go to the dentist at my insistence because they said the pain was normal tooth movement after his wisdom teeth removal. He ended up with 2 root canals, one on each side, and even after that one molar had to be extracted because it was cracked down the middle and unsavable. Eating a slug. Obviously it's nasty, but kids do stupid shit as dares or even in hazing rituals. Slugs contain parasites that will get into your brain and fucking kill you slowly. I just read a whole article about rat lungworm in snails and slugs that is haunting me. Insulin. Looking at drops on a table, you can barely tell the difference between the therapeutic dose and a lethal one. Edit: if anyone can find the actual image of 2 doses of insulin on a table, I'd super appreciate it. I was going to post the link for reference but I couldn't find it. As a diabetic it's a little scary, but luckily the cure is just eating sugar. And you can feel your blood sugar dropping low long before you're in real danger of dying. Unless you took some astronomical dose or something. Some patients can't feel their lows. Those people are terrifying to treat sometimes because increasing their dose could drop them and they wouldn't know. That's when I start to reach for a continuous glucose monitor, but those can be expensive sadly. Fights. People are way too eager to prove who's the bigger badass. Hit someone the wrong way or start something with the wrong person and someone's not going home. Then if the police show up, someone's getting charged. Depending on the severity of the other party's injuries and the word of witnesses, you could be going away for a very long time. Not to mention the civil suits that may bury you in debt. Yup. I got sucker punched right above my left eye. 6 stitches and a fractured orbital socket and had to stay overnight at the hospital for observations since it was a head injury. Since the injuries were from an assault, charges were automatically pressed and we found ourselves in court a few months later. All from a single punch. Garage door springs. They will kill you. Please elaborate. I've never given these things a second thought. Had to redo ours recently. They're big, and really tightly wound. They're designed to hold a majority of the weight so the motor doesn't have to be monstrous. But resetting, changing them requires unwinding them turn by hand, which is a full 85 kilograms body weight, with leverage, job. If you aren't really careful you lose control and they'll break you with your lever tool. Stress. Oh wonderful, now I'm stressed about my stress levels. Cars. Very interesting how much society has normalized the dangers of the road. We often say things like you are more likely to die in a car accident than blank, which is intended to make blank seem safe, but it really tells us how many people are dying in car accidents all the time. Yep. Once my sister was nervous to get in a plane flight when she was small and my mom said, relax, you're orders of magnitude more likely to die in a car crash than in a plane crash. It didn't help. It just made her nervous to be in cars as well. Tylenol. It's actually a lot easier to overdose on than most people realize, and it slowly destroys your liver over a period of days. Not a fun way to die, to put it lightly. For all you high-functioning alcoholics out there, just avoid Tylenol. Tylenol is perfectly legal, but if you take 13 of them MFS, it'll be your last headache. Cat Williams. Real black licorice root extract contains the natural sweetener glycyrrhizin, which is over 50 times sweeter than sucrose. This ingredient has various pharmaceutical properties. It acts as an expectorant, facilitating removal of mucus from the lungs by coughing, and it increases blood pressure. The latter effect can become significant with a daily consumption of 50 grams or more of licorice candy for as little as 2 weeks. Glycyrrhizin can cause potassium levels in the body to fall, triggering abnormal heart rhythms, as well as high blood pressure, edema, swelling, lethargy, and congestive heart failure in some people. I always loved going to Europe as a kid and finding the licorice candies with the may cause hypertension warning labels on them. Felt dangerous eating them. Ha ha. Infections can still fuck you up easily if you don't seek medication attention in time. Posted safety precautions. When there are signs saying something, lots ignore thinking they know better. I used to work IT for a place that makes big tractors. Different stations are restricted from using certain PPE. One day this lady was wearing the wrong gloves. Her station is only supposed to use latex. She didn't take that seriously and wore thicker reinforced gloves. She was using the lug nuts machine that tightens 12 giant lugs at once. Her glove got caught and instead of ripping the fingertip off of her latex glove it ripped her thumb right the fuck off her hand. I witnessed it and her mistake haunts me to this day. They had to restrain her while 2 men held her hand up in the air away from her. Her wails and screams were terrifying. All because she ignored a well-placed warning. Edit, thanks for the awards and upvotes. Never posted anything that received that much attention. Thanks for the dopamine hit. Engulfment and confined spaces. With confined spaces, people usually don't realize that O2 runs out rather quickly. Engulfment because people probably don't think about essentially drowning in non-liquids. I was taught young to never climb into a silo. It may look cool, till the corn shifts and sucks you down. Trucker here. I've had 2 blood clots in my legs from driving long distances and having my leg pressed against the corner of the seat for hours on end. One almost killed me. Apparently it's very common with truckers. You're supposed to stop and walk around every hour and a half to keep things circulating, which almost nobody does due to time constraints. The same thing happens in gaming chairs apparently. People forget to move their legs because they're so focused on the game. You don't need to worry so much if you're younger, but if you're a gamer who's a little older, please be aware. Just want to throw a story out here. I am a dentist. I have a colleague who had a patient that needed a root canal. The patient put it off. He had a vacation coming up. He was going to Alaska and bush country to go hunting. By himself. Now Alaska bush country means you are alone. He was dropped off and his ride wasn't going to come back to pick him up for a week or 2. Well, after his ride left, the tooth he needed to get his root canal on blew up. Had severe pain and was all alone, no one to help him in the middle of nowhere. This was mid to late 90s, so no cell phone either. Well, his ride came back to pick him up. Finds a dead body. The guy killed himself. He couldn't take the pain anymore. Pain was so bad he couldn't wait the 1 or 2 weeks for his ride to come back. Shot himself, left a suicide note telling his story. Moral of the story. Don't put this shit off. There is no pain like tooth pain. On my way to brush my teeth. Horses. They weigh 1,200 pounds, they're extremely jittery, and they can crush you or kick you to death on accident. And that's just horses in general. Stallions will try to hurt you just to assert dominance. And these are animals that have been known to bite each other's throats out when they fight. Don't mess with horses unless you know what you're doing. Always be careful, even if you do. A friend of mine from school always had horses, and was a truly excellent rider. She lived her life around horses, rode competitively, the whole deal. 1 year out of school, we heard she died, got kicked in the chest, I believe attempting to get a nervous horse out of the float. So absolutely sad and definitely reinforced for me how much care to take. I'm also reminded of a relief teacher we had missing a finger, apparently bitten by a horse when she was younger. Grapefruit juice interacts with a lot of medications and could be very harmful to you depending on the medications you take. Falling down. A single mild fall can easily kill you if you happen to land just right. Usually on the back of your head. Don't walk downstairs with your hands in your pockets. Holding your breath while scuba diving. To most people who don't scuba dive it may sound harmless, but if you hold your breath and descend even a little over a meter you can suffer major lung damage as a result of the gas in your lungs expanding from the lessening pressure. Get that UTI handled or get a nasty kidney infection. I'm still amazed whenever I go to a cleaning products section and see bleach and ammonia just chilling together. Like, that's a World War I chemical weapon waiting to happen. Edit. You, unkind potato, left a comment. You should check that uses all the science. It's chloromin, not chlorine gas, and there's even a possibility of deadly hydrazine if there's enough ammonia. Science is fun. There are all these new satisfying videos out of these women cleaning extremely dirty homes. These women are mixing 2 or 3 kinds of toilet bowl cleaner, Ajax Power and Pine Sol cleaner in the toilet bowls. Another I seen poured 2 cans of Ajax, a bottle of that pink stuff and the pink and blue toilet bowl cleaner into a sink and proceeded to mix it with her bare hands. These dummies are out there taking requests from their viewers on what to mix together like it is some kind of adult slime. Standing under waterfalls. Edit. To elaborate, loose rocks or debris from the river or stream above could fall and crush you. Great, now I'm scared of waterfalls. Machines. If you get casual around them they will eat you. Oh, the videos I've seen of people getting stuck in machines. Shutters. Stay safe around equipment. Touching shit inside a guitar amp can fuck you up really bad. It holds a charge. And it all comes out at once if you touch the wrong spot. Visine. People seem to have this idea that a few drops of Visine in someone's drink will give them diarrhea, and do it to prank each other, or get some sort of satisfaction with petty revenge. People are sitting in prison for murder for doing this. The main active ingredient is called tetrahydrozoline. Once it enters your gastrointestinal tract, it can be absorbed by your intestines and end up in your blood, causing your blood pressure and heart rate to drop to potentially life-threatening levels. It really makes me wonder how many people have died due to people copycatting that scene in Wedding Crashers. Table corners, particularly low tables, you fall farther before striking the table, giving a greater impact force. For similar reasons, hard surface floors that are prone to be damp, for example tiled floor in a shower. This applies especially if the shower has a nice little built-up threshold between it and the rest of the bathroom. Experienced this one firsthand stepping into a shower in a hotel room. Windows. It's easy to think they're more secure than they actually are, which is especially dangerous in taller buildings. Falling through a broken window has a very high risk of a major laceration. Broken glass on the floor can again mess your body up spectacularly, and on certain surfaces it's really hard to spot even moderately sized razor-sharp pieces. Edit. LPT. For those living in areas that are earthquake-prone, keep a pair of slippers or sandals by your bedside. If there is an earthquake during the night, the chances are you will have picture frames that fell and shattered around your home, and you should have something hard-soled to walk on in that situation. Edit. 2. Be a thoughtful human. If you break something made from glass, don't just toss the broken glass. Put it into a cardboard box, tape it so it's sealed, and write broken glass on the box. My parents use layers of newspaper and tape it up. You have no idea who might handle the bag with your rubbish in. Shift work. The disturbance in your circadian rhythm takes years off your life. I worked a 12-hour shift work job for a year that rotated between days and nights. I call it the blackout year because it's a giant year-long hole in my memory. All I did was eat, sleep and work. Struggled with indigestion regularly, completely awful way to live. Smoke. It's not only the fire that can kill you, and there is a very good reason you are taught to stay low escaping a fire. The smoke is a hot gas layer that can melt your face off. Hippos. They kill more people in Africa than lions do.